Welcome to CHRO Conversations, presented by the Center for Executive Succession. I'm your host, Anthony Nyberg, and today we are joined by Kevin Walling, CHRO of Hershey. Thank you very much for joining us
It's
today.
great to be here. It's a privilege.
So, Kevin, we have been talking a lot about HR's role and the changes that have been going on over the years. Can you tell us a little bit from your perspective what this means in terms of HR's position in helping strategically guide the organization?
Sure. Again, thank you for the opportunity to be here with you. I would say that what HR has done more recently is really elevated its thinking on how it can drive performance, real commercial business performance, by the toolkit that we provide. So whether it's workplace or workforce strategies, more and more folks are recognizing that in order to achieve success, you have to have great strategies. But core to strategy is execution. And 90% of execution is all around the people. And so HR plays a critical role in helping define not only what that vision of success looks like, but most importantly, how we then can execute against that flawlessly to drive the kind of performance our shareholders are looking for.
Thank you. So what kind of challenges then can HR now deal with that maybe we weren't able to in the past?
Well, I think the challenges, depending upon industry, could be quite numerous and diverse. I think it's the approach that we solve for those problems is what's most pronounced, and that is the use of data and analytics to have more fact-based, more fact-based decision-making in how we approach creatively the business opportunities that face us all. And so the emergence of bringing data and insights to solutions, asking great questions, are helping business leaders solve for their challenges in a much more expeditious way.
So these new challenges, and particularly using the analytics as you described, does this mean you need people with different competencies than maybe you did in the past?
Yeah, I think the HR professional of the future will comprise of three primary skill sets. One, they'll have a consultancy type mindset. They'll be able to partner with business leaders, ask great questions, understand the business opportunity, and really help them think more critically. The other skill set that they'll have is much more of a data science or mathematician, having the ability to leverage data to have more informed decision making, and bringing that consultancy with the data-driven approach will really help transform the solution, the definition of solution. The third skill set I would offer is you still need core traditional HR expertise. So whether it be compensation, wellness, talent, succession planning, those core skills are the toolkit that are differentiated, but the combination of the consultancy, the data-driven approach, and the traditional skill set will be powerful.
So do you see that ideally a person would have those three skill sets, or do you see the HR function having people that are specialists in each of those areas?
I actually see more of the specialists. So, bringing the combination of individuals that have those unique skill sets. There might be someone out there, but practically, I would like to think that the combination of individuals with those appropriate skill sets can be a really powerful team.
So, do you see those relatively equal for future people going into HR? Couldn't they specialize in any one of those three areas, or do you see one that might be more appropriate if their goals are to become like you?
Sure. Instance? Well, I'm not sure if they want to become like me, but the folks that we're hiring are far more smarter and better than I am. But I actually think that if you think about the HR professional of the future, they're really general managers with a different toolkit. What is most important is having a business acumen, an understanding of what drives performance, and then how to motivate and engage a workforce against that agenda, that vision of what success is. And so for an HR professional, I think it's that consultancy skill set. That might be the most pronounced, the most important. And then you augment that with the traditional capabilities or skill sets of both traditional and data-driven.
Okay, thank you. That's what we try to preach to our students constantly. So it's very helpful to hear you say that. Switching gears just a little bit, can you say in recent years, it appears that HR has certainly achieved its seat at the table now, I would say. But can you tell us a little bit more about what it's like for you in terms of do you engage with boards of directors, and if so, in what ways?
Sure. I spend a lot of time on the board, on strategy, and with the executive team. Why? The HR role has a unique opportunity to span the entire breadth of the enterprise and influence those things that matter most in terms of driving performance. And boards and executives are more and more realizing the power of having a great workplace and workforce strategy. And so in any given board meeting, I represent a majority of the time spent talking around business, right? So every board meeting, I'm presenting to the board either around workplace, workforce, or talent, or compensation. And except perhaps finance, my function is in front of the board more than any other. And it's because of the things we touch, the things that we enable, and the value of that is really becoming more and more realized. Now, you talked about HR evolving. We're getting there. We're still evolving in terms of demonstrating the true ROI of what we bring to the table, but it's becoming more and more realized.
And one of the things you mentioned that you deal with the board is, of course, succession.
Yes.
What is HR's role particularly in CEO succession process?
Sure. So the role of HR, the CHRO in particular, is critical in succession planning. Not just the CEO, but in terms of the executive and leadership team that is ultimately accountable for driving performance and delivering performance. And so my role is to advise and help shape the agenda. We recently announced our CEO's retirement. JP Bilbrey is retiring in July of 2017. I will tell you that when he was appointed back in 2011, immediately at the December meeting, we began our succession discussion, and I was with the board helping them define not only the future Hershey, but importantly, what would be the future profile of the next CEO of Hershey. And so we began in earnest to talk about not only the future, but what would it take to develop a pipeline of talent, of diverse talent, that would be ready in the event or when the event of CEO succession comes into play. I will tell you that the event is the small window. The real work is in all of the development, the talent identification, both inside and outside of the company, to prepare for the event of decision.
And that's something that you're intimately involved in from day one throughout the entire process,
yes.
I presume.
Yeah, and my job is to ensure that the board has the best possible options to select the best possible talent, whether they be internal or external to Hershey. And so I work clearly for the board, who represents the shareholders in this regard.
Is that a challenging dynamic to work for both the board and the CEO and all of the other people that may be potentially candidates to become to rise through the ranks?
As long as you define the role clarity up front and the objective, what is most important for the shareholder, folks understand it and they get it. And so you can be completely committed to the shareholder and at the same time do the right things for any internal candidates, or in fact even the CEO as he or she develops their successor pipeline.
Thank you very much for joining us. We sincerely appreciate having you here. Our students are already raving about their experiences with you, and we greatly appreciate you coming down.
Thank you, Anthony.
You've listened to another CHRO Conversation. Today, Kevin Walling of the Hershey Group joined us and explained to us yet again why HR is an integral and critical function in driving business success. On behalf of myself and the entire faculty associated with the Masters of Human Resource program here at the University of South Carolina, thank you for joining us.